Welcome back, grade 2s. Here is your homework from yesterday. I hope you were able to figure it out. So the midpoint between 0 and 20 would be 10. Now we've got first the number 9. Now 9 is greater than 0, less than 10, but only one less than 10. So it will be quite close to the number 10. 13 is greater than 10, less than 20. And remember, the midpoint between 10 and 20 is 15. So probably about here would be right. 17, greater than 9, greater than 10, greater than 13, and less than 20. So we would put it about here. Now, some of you will have noticed that the example and the homework are very similar. So sorry about that one. All right, now let's review going by 50s now. Now, hopefully you can remember the midpoint between 50 and 0 is 25. Now, an easy way to remember this is 2 quarters is 50 cents and 1 quarter is 25 cents. So if you can remember that, that will help you remember the midpoint between these. So let's look at our numbers that we have. Now 23 is of course greater than 0. It's less than 25, but it is very close to the number 25. It's only 2 less. So we're going to keep it very close to the 25. Now here we have the number 6. Now 6 is quite a bit less than 23. Think of it this way, a 6-year-old is much younger than a 23-year-old, correct? So let's think in terms of tens. If we were going 10, 20, 30, 40, well, 6 is less than 10. It's going to be quite close to 0. 38, greater than 25, less than 50. Let's think in terms of tens again. 10, 20, 30, 40. 38 is just a little bit less than 40, so this would be a pretty good spot for it. All right, so now we are going to go up another notch and we are going to go up to 100. Now, I've chosen the numbers for this one very strategically. First of all, the midpoint between 100 and 0 is 50, halfway between. Now, if you remember, the halfway point between 0 and 10 was 5. So if you see that as a pattern, the midpoint between 0 and 100 is 50. Now, let's think about 0 and 50 just for a moment. Now, if you'll remember in the last example, the midpoint between 0 and 50 was 25. And lo and behold, that is our other number. So I'm going to put that about halfway between. And if you can see my pattern here, you might be starting to understand where the 75 might go. So some of you will guess that 75 is halfway between 50 and 100. So once you have these marked on your 100 line, it makes it easier to put other numbers on the line. So let's try that in the next example here. So we're going to actually write those in this time. So the halfway point between 0 and 100 was 50. The halfway point between 0 and 50 is 25. And the halfway point between 50 and 100 is 75. So now that we have all those markers, let's figure out where to put these numbers. So we have the number 65, greater than 0, greater than 25, greater than 50, but less than 75. So we know it's going to go in here somewhere. Now, halfway between 50 and 75 would be about 62 or 63. So putting this in the middle is pretty close. That's about right. Let's now look at the number the number 13. Greater than 0, less than 25. In fact, 13 is just about in the middle of 0 and 25. You can't find the exact middle because it's an odd number and it doesn't divide evenly, but the 13 should go in between. Finally, we have the number 86, greater than 25, greater than 50, greater than 75. So it's still going to be less than 100, so you could put it in between there. All right. So here is your homework example for today, finding where these numbers will be ordered between 0 and 50. So please give that a try. Find the midpoint, think about tens, and see if you can figure out where these numbers should go. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.